Hello and welcome back to another Doctor Who action figure review. In today's review I'm going to be taking a look at the History of the Daleks set number 3 from The Chase, which is exclusive to B&M Stores in the UK and is available now. Once again, a massive thank you to Character Options for very kindly sending me this sample set to review, and I'm going to apologise in advance if I sound a bit croaky and a bit bleh in this video. It's because I've got a cold, so I do apologise. But for now, let's just crack on with the review by taking a look at the packaging. Figures come packaged in the now familiar blue and grey window box with the TARDIS on the side, featuring the gold limited edition foil sticker on the front. And then on the back we have a look at the two figures, along with a synopsis of the story, The Chase, as well as a little bit of background information on the Dalek props. Like I said in the previous reviews, I really love this, that we're getting a little bit of history of the props. It really just makes it feel like this is very much aimed at collectors and fans of the classic series. And as ever, like with all of these sets, we are treated to a lovely diorama-style backdrop, this time of the jungles of Mechanus, very similar to what we saw with the Jungles of Mechanus set that came out as a Character Options exclusive, which I reviewed a few weeks back. So it's very much in the same style and vein as that. Like always, we've got a few little Easter eggs snuck in here. So the jungle is part Mechanus, part Zeta Minor from Planet of Evil, and we've even got one of the dead bodies from Zeta Minor as well in the bottom there. So a lot of fun, always love these. They are really, really great. They look fantastic when you put your figures with them. A really nice way to display your figures. So out of the box, the two Daleks look stunning as ever. They are really, really lovely figures. The two versions that we're treated to here are the Dalek Guard, which, as we all know by now, is the modified movie Dalek props. And then we have our sort of standard drone with the solar slats down the sides. This was the first time the Daleks had these solar slats. Let's begin by talking about the Chase Dalek Guard. So this was originally offered as a single carded figure as part of the sound effects wave. It was incredibly hard to get. It sold out very, very quickly because it was the closest thing at that time that we had to movie Daleks, and people went crazy for them. I'm so pleased to see that this one has been re-released, especially now that we've just had the movie Daleks come out. This is great because in the episode we have two of these versions of the prop. These were the modified ones, so it's got the egg cup dome lights, and then it has the larger fender removed. The actual props didn't have any fender at all. It was just literally the skirt, and that was it. Obviously, because this is a toy, character can't just release a hollow, empty Dalek, so they have to put a base on it with wheels. So that's fine, I don't mind that. But I imagine if you really wanted them to be super duper accurate, you can just unscrew the base and display it like that. So yeah, really, really pleased that they've re-released this. And actually, if you watched my video, What Next for the History of the Daleks sets, I kind of guessed that maybe this was one that we would get, and it makes for a good army builder. In fact, this whole set is a good army building set because there were two of these Dalek props, and of course the other Dalek is a drone, so it's got a lot of army building value. And the Dalek itself is just stunning. You know, it's based on the movie Daleks, which, if you watch my review of the movie Daleks that have just come out from Character Options, I bought two of those. I just swooned over how lovely they looked, and this is no different. So it's all the same colours as the movie Daleks that just came out. So it is slightly different to the SFX version, and that makes a lot of sense. I imagine these were all made in the same factory, so it was literally just swapping bits and pieces when they were being assembled. The egg dome lights are cast in this translucent yellow. They look really great. I think they're slightly cloudier than the original ones. I think the original ones were a bit clearer, perhaps, possibly slightly paler. I don't, unfortunately, have the original one to hand to compare it to, sadly. The paint apps around the eye stalk, very neat and tidy, very crisp. You've got the lovely glossy black of the main eye section with the darker blue discs, and then the bluish metallic silver for the main rod of the eye stalk. Moving down to the neck bin, again, very neat paint applications with the silver on the strips going down around the mesh and with the slats across the side. And then the main body of the Dalek is this, again, bluish silver metallic paint and with the gold bands. Again, very neat paint applications, no bleeds or anything like that. And then looking at the plunger and the gun stick, these are, again, very much like the movie Dalek versions, not like the original SFX version of this figure. So what I mean by that is, with the plunger, you can see that the main portion of the plunger is that metallic bluish silver, whereas the small bit attaching to the plunger itself is just bright silver. The ball joints are also bright silver, and then the gun stick is the more metallic bluey silver as well. And I think the original SFX version had a traditional 60s Dalek gun, rather than this one that we're more sort of familiar with the 70s and 80s Dalek. So that's another slight difference from the original release. And then the hemispheres, very neat and crisp paint applications here, that metallic darker blue to match the dome. Then we have the simple thin black fender along the bottom. So overall, a really, really lovely Dalek variant, one that I'm glad got a re-release. Next, we have the standard drone Dalek. This is my favourite type of Dalek, I have to say. I love the sort of later 60s ones. The original Dead Planet ones are very nice, but I do love these ones with these different dome lights and the slats down the side. This is what Daleks are supposed to look like, in my opinion. So just like the previous History of the Dalek sets, this Dalek uses that lovely bright silver. It's a gorgeous finish. They look absolutely fantastic. So it's got the same egg cup dome lights as the Dalek Guard. The eye stalk is the sort of usual 60s eye stalk. This time we've got a matte black finish for the eye, and it's got the little squinty iris, which I love. I think that's great. I thought it looked so good on the previous ones, and it's nice to see it being used here as well. It just adds a lot of personality to the Daleks, which is funny. It's only a little slight paint application, but it does do the trick. The rings on the eye stalk this time are incredibly pale, very, very pale blue. I'm not sure why they've done this. I don't know if it's more accurate to the real props or not, but I noticed it and I thought, oh, that's quite different. So if there's any Dalek aficionados in the comments, please let me know. Then moving down to the neck bin, just like with the other Dalek, very neat paint applications here in that bright, beautiful silver. Same going down to the shoulder section with the slats, very neat and crisp, and also with the plunger and gun arm. So now we need to bring our attention to what is possibly the elephant in the room and something that has caused a lot of chatter online: the colour of the shoulder sections. Traditionally, the shoulder sections are a dark grey. For this set, and for the History of the Daleks set 4, they've changed the colour grey to a much lighter grey, and I really don't know what I think about it, to be honest. When I first saw the pictures, I was like, oh, why have they gone and done that? Because, quite honestly, it didn't need changing. You know, the grey that they used before was absolutely perfect. So I'm not sure why they've done this and made it lighter. I don't think it looks bad necessarily, but I think now that we're so used to seeing the correct grey, it just sort of suddenly looks a bit weird. I can only assume that they changed it to make it seem slightly different to the previous releases, because this is a version that did get released before. It was released with the Mechanoid. There are differences between the two releases, namely now the grey, but also the dome lights. The original release had the small circular dome lights from the Dead Planet Daleks and the Dalek Invasion of Earth Daleks painted orange, but they weren't right. So this is the first time that they've got the dome lights correct. But now they've changed the paint around the shoulders. I mean, it's really tricky because looking at the figure, it looks stunning. I think it looks excellent. But knowing that grey's wrong, it just niggles at my brain. I still think it looks great, but why did they change it? It seems weird, but I can only assume they changed it because they thought, well, maybe we can make it slightly different again. Maybe they didn't want it to be too similar to the releases that had just come out. I don't know. I'm really not so sure. Obviously, there's still a couple of 60s Dalek stories left to do. There's Power of the Daleks and Evil of the Daleks. I really hope that when they do those sets, they return to the original grey, because it's just better, basically, in my opinion. It's just better. Then moving down to the skirt, again, the beautiful bright silver with the lovely baby blue hemispheres. Again, very neat paint apps here. There's a little bit of bleed here and there, but nothing major. And then we have the same black fender as the other Dalek. In terms of articulation, well, these are Daleks and they have the same articulation as every other Dalek toy you've ever had. So if we just take this one, for example, he has a joint at the eye stalk, which allows it to pivot up and down. This one's kind of loose, you can see. It's a bit floppy. Nothing to be embarrassed about, Mr. Dalek. It happens to the best of us. And he has articulation at the dome. It can swivel around 360. He's got ball-jointed manipulator arm and gun stick. And of course he's on 3 wheels, with the front wheel being able to rotate all the way around, so you can get full Dalek movement. So overall, I think this is a perfect army builder set, because a lot of people are going to want more than one guard, and people are going to want more than one normal drone. I do lament the fact that the grey was changed, and I think if it was changed because they thought, well, we want to differ it from previous releases, I really wish they'd have done the drone Dalek with the Dalek Invasion of Earth Ice Stalk. I am sort of contemplating getting another set so I can make that change myself, because that's like the only variant from this story that we don't have that is a paint change. But because of the light grey paint job, I'm kind of unsure as if I want to do that yet or not, so I'll think about it. I know a few people were really hoping that we would see the Dalek with either the seismic detector or even the electromagnet doodah disc spinny thing from this story, and I can't remember if I left this in the video that I did on the future of the history of the Dalek sets, but in that video, when I recorded it, I remember doing a bit where I said, I'm pretty sure that this sort of selection of figures, this history of the Daleks wave, if that's what you want to call it, I'm pretty sure that this is devised purely as a re-release, repaint, refresh wave. I don't think we're going to ever see any new tooling here. I would love to see that seismic detector Dalek. It would be brilliant, and I'd love to see the other version. But I think these Dalek sets are just going to purely be there to kind of almost support the tooling coming in the other sets. I could be completely wrong. I could be talking out of my backside, but that's just what I assume. So thank you all very much for watching. Again, I apologise for my croaky voice, and I will leave you to decide what you think about the grey on the shoulder sections. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Like I said, I'm on the fence. It's still a really nice figure, but yeah, I'm not quite sure on that grey colour. But thank you all for watching, and thanks again to Character for sending them over, and I'll see you all again next time for another Doctor Who action figure review. Bye-bye!